Hi listeners, this is Amanda and we're out in my sunroom today because it's just so nice and pretty out. I wanted to do a very fast video on something called the cookbook approach to writing. In my last blog, I talked a little bit about going to a writing retreat and working on some writing there, and it's always kind of fun to go to those things because you get to hear a lot of other people and what their process is for writing. While I was there, there was a gentleman who was talking about something called the cookbook approach to writing. And what he meant about it was that he was sort of asking questions about, like, how do I go about writing this? Or how do I go about writing that? Like, he says, I can't work with a blank slate. I need a recipe and I need instructions. You tell me what to write and I'll write it. You tell me what order to write it in, and I can do it. And I think that a lot of students are probably looking for something like that, like a cookbook approach or a recipe approach to writing. My best advice that I can say is, first of all, I'm sorry, but no such thing exists. Writing is one of those wonderful ways that we can convey language and make sense of what we're trying to portray in terms of data and analysis and, our own thoughts on certain topics. And, honestly, there's so many infinite different things that people write about and purposes for writing. There's really just no good way to say, start here, go through these steps in order, and end here. But the closest thing that you can do as a student is to just sort of reach out for certain resources. So the first thing that I would suggest is to think about what it is that you're writing and who you're writing it for. If you're writing something for a course, what you might try to do is to see if there's a rubric of some kind, or a grading, some grading rubrics or some grading standards that your teacher is using. Ask for those and say, can I see what your grading criteria are? Or can I look at your rubric? And honestly, if you've got that kind of in front of you, you might be able to use the grading rubric as a way to sort of structure your writing. So I know I'm going to have these 4 headings in my writing because these are the 4 major things that my teacher is going to be looking for. Another thing that's really important to keep in mind is that as you write, you're going to continue to get better the more that you read. And so whatever kind of writing you're doing, read a lot of that same kind of writing. What have other people in your field been doing and doing well? So if you're writing, for example, research studies, read more research studies because you'll get the hang of the flow of how those studies are written sort of intuitively because you've been reading them just over and over and over again, and you just sort of start to get the feel for them. That goes for any other kind of writing as well. So those are kind of my 2 big top suggestions for if you are a formulaic writer, if you're somebody who just needs a structure to be able to fill in, look for the grading rubric and read lots and lots of other works that have already been done that are in your specific genre. Good luck, happy writing.